Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 244 of Prog Review. And if you haven't read the title description, I'm going to be talking about the Nice. Here Comes the Nice, immediate collection. I'm going to be talking about this, but I'm also going to be talking about the rest of their career. It's going to be this and more. Why, Darren? Why? Well, we've done a lot about Emerson, Lake and Palmer, brain salad surgery, yeah? That was the last Prog review. I thought, well, wouldn't it be nice to go back and see where it all came from? And before ELP, again, this is for the people that aren't familiar with the Nice and what Keith Emerson did before he formed that supergroup. There was the Nice, yeah. Originally, we kind of formed as P.P. Arnold's backing band under the management of Andrew Loog Oldham. Yes, they took their name from the song by the Small Faces, "Here Comes the Nice." Apparently, though there's been a bit of debate because Steve Marriott was involved with the band at one point, and then Emerson said in his biography that it was P.P. Arnold that named the band. So you know what it's like in the 60s. Everyone has problems with their memories. Who knows who named the Nice? There is no definitive answer, but they kind of take their name from the Small Faces song. I think we can all agree on that. So who's in the band? You've got Keith Emerson, of course. He's on the old keyboards. Lee Jackson is bass and vocals. Again, a bit like Greg Lake, really. He's kind of does that thing. David Olist, or Davey Olist, is on guitars, and Brian Davison, Blinky to his friends, is the drummer. So yeah, I mean, they're a really curious band. I like them. I like them more than ELP because they're not pretentious in a way. You have like the pop side of things, and then you have them experimenting with classical music and doing other thing. Again, there's not been any reissues of their. To explain, back in the old days, they were on the Immediate label. They had 3 albums on the Immediate label. Thoughts of Emma's List, I'll get it right in a minute. The Thoughts of Emma's Davajack. Emma's Davajack is an amalgam of their names, if you haven't worked that out. Released in 1967. Ars Longa Vita Brevis. Art is Forever, Life is Short. I think that's the translation, but my Latin's not that good. 1968. Then there was Nice, or Everything as Nice Mother Makes It, 1969. So those are the 3 immediate albums. They've kind of been lost in time. There's not been a decent reissue. There's been various reissues on different labels, and this is the one I got. This was released by Sanctuary in the early 2000s, I think. Yeah, where it kind of brings those immediate records together. And then they released 2 albums on Charisma, 5 Bridges and Elegy, but there's also another album which I've got, which is a kind of a compilation of all this stuff. Their discography is really complicated and really difficult to get into. That's why this is pretty cool, because you get all the important stuff in a little package. Alas, it's out of print. And it's a shame that someone, I don't know, Esoteric, something like that, doesn't, bring their albums back either in a decent box set or as an individual release. I think probably a box set's better because they're a band that burnt bright in a short amount of time. So you have this like pop side of them, like The Thoughts of Emily Davajack is a very poppy song. Flower King of Flies, which I absolutely love, very 60s, very psychedelic, crazy stuff, reference to Beelzebub himself. And then you have stuff like Rondo, which is instrumental. and of course America. America is, well, it's a very, again, nowadays the political side of things is kind of on the wane. People don't realise just how political music could be at the time. And when they covered America by Leonard Bernstein, I don't know if you know the musical. The song America is about how wonderful life is in America, and opportunity is. I think it's sung by, in the musical West Side Story, it's sung by an immigrant saying how you can do, everything's great in America. Well, anyway, the Nice turned it into almost an anti-American song, and when they issued it as a single, it was called America, a second amendment. Now, Second Amendment relates to the right to bear arms, and that's why there's a quote at the end, purportedly spoken by P.P. Arnold's 3-year-old son. I've got to get it right. America is pregnant with promise and anticipation, but is murdered by the hand of the inevitable. It's a very controversial quote to put in there. And when they played the Royal Albert Hall, I think Yes were their support at the time, Keith Emerson burnt the American flag during the performance, and they were banned for life. Very controversial. It was going to be released in America, and they did a very controversial poster with presidents' heads. So yeah, very political band as well. Very heavy band. If you listen to them play, they're almost like a punky heavy metal. Emerson really attacks the keyboards. Jackson's bass is just really percussive and driving, very hard and heavy. But then they can also be light with their instrumental stuff as well. When they go to the classical pieces. They also have a great deal of humour in their songs. There's a track that they do called Daddy, Where Did I Come From?, which is all about the birds and the bees, and depending on which version you hear, is quite amusing. As your mother said, what's the quote? As your mother says, if sex is a pain in the arse, then you know you're doing it wrong. That is a lyric from that song. And then they go off on these, like I say, great big classical excursions where they cover the Brandenburg Concerto. They call it Brandenburger. Into the intermezzo from the Corellia Suite. The Troika. Yep. And so you can see almost a template for ELP. It's all there. It is like a proto ELP, and what they do is very progressive even. So it's late night, doing this late of a night when everyone's asleep. So yeah, if you haven't checked out the Nice, I'd really recommend it. But like I said, the discography is really all over the place. I mean, if you can get hold of this, you're halfway there. I've got some vinyl. I've got some vinyl down here that you might want to have a look at. Do you want to have a look at the vinyl? You can just nod your head. Now, I picked these up, 20 odd years ago, for quids. When you could buy vinyl for quids. Do you remember that? Oh, it's just orange. And again, it kind of demonstrates just how all over the place the Nice's back catalogue is. Now, this one is called In Memory. You can read it. It's very late, and it's got America on it, Rondo, 6-9, Diamond Hard Blued Apples of the Moon, Intermezzo from Corellia Suite, Thoughts of Ursula Jabjag, Azrael Revisited, Hang On to a Dream, and the Brandenburger. And again, this is actually a French edition, which is nice. See what I did there? Like I said, I got it for about £1. and but it's on the Immediate label. So there you go. What's this one? What have we got here? This is the Nice Greatest Hits, and again this is on the Immediate label, issued in 1977, and again you've got America, Hang On To A Dream, Intermezzo from Karelia, Sweet, Emily Stavjak, Dun Hard Blue, Apples of the Moon, Cry of Eugene, Rondo, Ars Longa Vita Brevis, both movements, and so that's that one, which is kind of nice. And again, that's on the Immediate label. And then we'll talk about those Charisma issues. This is called Autumn '67, Spring '68, and this is on the old Charisma Perspective label. Look at that. It's even got its original in the bag, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there's some prog on there, isn't there? Can you see can you name all the sleeves? Bet you can't. And it's a pinky, I believe. Yeah, it's a pinky Charisma. And again, what you've got here is you've got some of the songs from those first 3 albums on Immediate. Thoughts of Emily Stavjak, Flower and Flies, Bonnie K, America, Diamond Eye Blue, Apples of the Moon, Dawn, Tantalising Maggie, The Cry of Eugene, and Daddy, Where Did I Come From? Original unreleased recording. That's the one where they talk about sex being a pain in the arse. I quite like this compilation. It's a good one. It's a good one, but because you get all the good bits. He said, just got to get it back in the sleeve. Crap! I'll do that later. A proper YouTuber would have edited that out, but we don't do that. Then we have Elegy. I think I might have got these two the wrong way around, but anyway, we've got Elegy. Bit of damage there, bit of a sticky sleeve damage, bit of bad damage to the back there. And these are this is all like the offcuts. Hang On To A Dream, My Back Pages. That's a Tim Hardin and Bob Dylan cover, respectively. And then you've got third movement, Pathétique by Tchaikovsky, and America again, live at the Fillmore East. Again, this is a pinky Charisma. Not too keen on that one because again it's a bit of an odds and sods record. And this is the last album they did, called Five Bridges, and it's an original composition. You have the Five Bridges suite, which is over side 1. Again, it's the band doing their classical music bit, and then side 2, Intermezzo from the Karelia Suite, Pathetic Symphony by Tchaikovsky, Country Pie, Brandenburg Concerto by Dylan Bach, and One of Those People by Emerson and Jackson. Again, it's a mixture of live stuff and studio stuff. It's a bit all over the place, but again, it's the one that you could probably actually find on Amazon. Probably not the best introduction to the band, but it's those Immediate records, the first 3 albums that I recommend, or if you can get a good compilation. So yes, this prog review's been a bit all over the place, isn't it? Really, it's been a bit different. It's been a bit more about the Nice, their career. So almost like a primer, I guess. But yeah, I really liked the Nice. It's a shame that they split up and formed the LP. But also you have Jackson Heights, formed by Lee Jackson, and Refugee. Refugee featured Mr. Mraz, Patrick Mraz. And yeah, their albums are pretty interesting well, not Jackson Heights, I haven't got their albums, but Refugee, I've got their ones. They're pretty proggy in places, as you'd expect. And then of course, the LP. But all the groundwork, everything that you hear on ELP, all that rifling through the classical tune box, all that stuff, and all those flights of fantasy, all began with the Nice. And again, Keith Emerson attacking his keyboard with the German, or was it Hitler Youth knife that Lemmy gave him, all began with the Nice. Pulling the keyboard on top of him, the Nice. He was doing that with that band for a good few years before transposing it to ELP. So yeah, I mean, I think they're greatly underrated. I think they're kind of dismissed as being a little bit lightweight. I think again, if the back catalogue was treated with respect, if there was a decent box set, I think it's time that we kind of re-evaluated the Nice and their impact on progressive rock. They weren't just a pop band; there was more to it than that. And you know, I think if you well, again, if you most of you have probably heard of them, most of you probably already checked them out already. I feel like I'm kind of talking to those who are already nodding sagely and stroking their beards, but if you haven't checked them out, please do, because I think you'll be surprised how, you know, from 1967 they were already there, you know, kind of at the cusp really of prog rock. They kind of laid the foundation of prog. So yeah, that's it. So my name's been Darren Ock, and I'm not going to give it a rate. Well, should I give it a rate? I suppose I should, really. I mean, like I said, it brings in all three of their the first album, and you also get like a load of live stuff as well, and alternative versions. Can't remember how much it cost. Probably about 20 quid actually, and it's a shame it's not available in my. I'd say buy a copy, but I think it's quite expensive second hand. I don't know. But yeah, I'm going to give it 5 rondos out of 5. That's 5 rondos out of 5. Here come the immediate anthology. Do try and find a copy or find similar compilations. Bit of a cop out, really. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope it wasn't too rambly. And yeah, got to figure out what I'm going to do next. Maybe I'll do Refugee, I don't know. And that's it. Only one more thing to say. Are you ready? Okay then. Prog on.